Yo, what is up, Raider Nation? It's your boy Small Raider. We're back with another live show on a Friday night. You know, we get down on Friday, and today is a great day to be a Raider fan. I think every day is a great day to be a Raider fan, unless the season is going on, and then we feel like it's the end of the world. But that aside, though, shout out to the nation, shout out to everybody that was waiting in the chat, man. I know I went on, hey, some more time. When I put 5 o'clock, it's never really 5 o'clock. If I put 9 a.m., it's not 9 a.m. You got to give me like 5-10 minutes until we get started. But yo, shout out to the chat one time for the one time. We are up in here deep. We got Lottie up in here. We got Brian. We got the Space Beast. Cheeto up in the building. Let's go. Trey, Raider Diaz, Raider Room up in the building. Knock Andrew. Come on now. We are here. We are here. That being said, man, hey, we feeling oozy tonight. Shout out to the chat, shout out to the oops. Hey, but without further ado, I ain't trying to waste any time today. You guys know you guys know why we here today. You know how we feeling right now, and of course we got to start off by bringing on the honorary oos, my oos, the big oos, Joe Morley. How we feeling today? How we feeling, oos?
Woo! It's Friday. We made it to another end of the week. I went out to the golf course today, got burned up, but met a lot of good Raider fans out there. But you know what we're here for. There's only one reason we're here today.
Yeah.
You already know that.
Chill. No, we don't got Zion in here, guys. Chill, y'all. But anywho, we got somebody better up in the building, man. I want to bring on the big Oos, my Oos over here in Las Vegas, baby, covering our favorite team in the whole world. Levi Edwards, how we feeling, Oos? Thanks again for attending the show, those.
No problem, man. I'm not as freaky as Zion, but
Yeah, you freaky. We don't gotta pay to get freaky over here, man. We here for a good time, not a long time, man. You know how we feeling, man. But I know the chat's kind of going wild right now, and I know you've been busy. I think everybody's been busy, but as a Raider fan, I think it's easy to say that, hey, it's never a boring off season for Raider fans because there's always something going on every single year. But you being in the building, man, how's the off season been to you?
it's been good. In a weird way, it's interesting just because you start to become normalized by the moving parts and how things are just always so different every year. So it's just like, yeah, it's another coach. It's another coaching search. It's another quarterback search. It's just kind of been that way. So it seems crazy on the outside, and it is, but at the same time, with just kind of like how things are going, and just how battle tested I would say I am in the building. It's not anything new, and at the end of the day, you want to get it right. So it doesn't matter how many times you got to try. As long as you get it right, that's all that matters. And Clint Kubiak might be the right guy.
I mean, hopefully so. And you brought up a good point, though, because when have you covered the team? I think like 2020 or 2021. I think we talked about it before, right?
Yeah,
2021, 2020. Yeah. Okay. So
next season.
2020. Since 2020 was, man, like you said, you're used to that feeling already by now, right? Like going to the press conference every year with the new coach, with some expectations going into the new year. Like how is that? Because I feel like other beat writers for other teams probably have to do it once in a while. I mean, look at the Ravens. They had to change the coach. This is the first time in forever for them. The Steelers the same way, but for the Raiders, like this is going to be the fourth regime in 4 years. Like, it, do you feel? Is it crazy to you, or is it like something that you're kind of used to right now that ain't nothing new to you at this point?
It's both. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
not gonna sit here and I'm not gonna lie and say that is not unusual, because it is very unusual. It's just now become unusual. It's not. It's become usual to me, and I hope for Raider Nation's sake that it becomes a very unusual circumstance, where a coach is removed or a GM is removed, or different things of different regimes happen. It's one of those things where I was talking to Marcus Allen earlier today, doing an interview with him for something that you guys can look
Okay.
forward to in the future. But
Oh
he
yeah.
just said the one thing that the Raiders need anything right now is stability. And
Mm.
I agree wholeheartedly. That I think the Raiders have everything. They have the best facilities. They have the best fan base. They have everything that you would want for a football team in order to get to the next step. A beautiful stadium. That you just need stability from top down, and once that is in place, then you're gonna go back to the glory days of what the Raiders used to be.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, and that's one thing that I've
Yeah.
been preaching. It was like I told Joe too. We talked about it during the season as well. Like stability and having somebody here for at least more than 1 year is huge. And I know how bad it's been, especially as a Raider fan for the last 2 years, 3 years, you can say. But going back to AP, I've been one guy that's like, as bad as it's been this season, like let's give him another chance, let's give him another year. But I guess they always want to go into a new direction. But shout out to my Uchi
And
Cheeto up in the chat real quick because I was gonna bring this up though. He says, "I know we saying this a lot. I know we say this a lot, but it really does feel different this time, right? This time, right? Do you feel like it is a little bit different now than times before with this new regime?"
I would just say from the standpoint, I would say things are making a little bit more sense, just in the sense that they're making more logical, rational decisions. I'd say that is a lot different. I say in years past, they would do things or make certain moves, and you're just kind of like thinking to yourself, like, why was that necessary? Or you're scratching your head. I think the way that they used their money in free agency this year made sense. I think them making the trades that they've made for the players that they've traded away or brought in have made sense. Them acquiring more picks throughout the season made sense. Them, putting all of their eggs in a basket for number one in the sense of what it seems like they will do makes sense. Everything that they're doing right now just makes logical sense in comparison to what I've seen in years past of them just kind of throwing things together and getting some Flex Seal and trying to spray some Flex Seal on the situation and think everything will be better. This is not a Flex Seal
hey,
situation. You gotta pick it apart, tear it from the ground up, and build it new. And I think that's what SpyTech is trying to do.
Yeah.
hey, that Flexi will be working good on the commercials. It'll be stopping the hole, we'll be doing everything. Like, so I don't know. Maybe we just had the wrong batch of Flex Seal for a while, and
Maybe we
it
need,
was
maybe
like
we need name brand Flex Seal. Maybe we using
The Walmart
the
brand.
no
We're using the Walmart brand.
Lowe's.
in
Need
the
to go to
dollar store.
Yeah.
Do you feel that maybe it has something to do with that we actually have a GM that's been here for longer than a year, and he actually, and John Spytek actually gets to see what his roster is and gets to put more input onto it now than we've seen in the past?
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, you can say the same thing for Dave Ziegler. You can say the same thing for Mike Mayock. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt in the sense that now he knows the lay of the land and he has a little bit more of a, realistic opportunity to make decisions. I think when he first came in, it was still kind of Pete making the decisions and leading the way. Obviously, Spytek was a very, like, he did a lot in terms of making sure that the picks were right, making sure the right people were coming in. But I still think that, Pete Carroll still had his thumbprint on kind of final decision making. And I would say now with Spytek being with the team for 2 years and he's hiring a first time head coach and he has the connection that he has with Brady, as well as the fact that Mark Davis is kind of letting him cook, letting him do his thing. I feel like
Yeah.
Spytek is probably a lot more confident now to be able to say, this is my decision, this is what I want to do, and make it happen. And it also helps that he's come from a winning background. He won in Tampa Bay, he won in Denver. He's a winner, and he knows what it takes to put together winning organizations because he's seen it. So he's really just trying to implement the same things that he's already done, just in the top role.
Yeah, and I do believe I like seeing it now this year. I think this offseason, even though Cheeto said it earlier, it does feel a little different. And I'm not gonna lie, I say that with a lot of regimes until like it doesn't work out right for the most part. But I feel like decisions are being made the right way. And I thought the same thing with Pete Carroll last year, right? Because going into that season, I thought, okay, we got somebody with experience now. There's no way we can be worse than the year prior, and we were way worse than the year prior, right? So for me, like like I wanted to ask this because I feel like everybody respected the decision, and I know that Pete Carroll is not the young guy he was or whatnot. Like he was a little bit older in age, but where do you think that it went wrong with Pete Carroll over here?
I think when it came down to it, just you got to coach up your guys at the end of the day, and that's not a knock on Pete Carroll. I think that he's still a Hall of Fame worthy coach, and he has the resume that he has, and he's a great motivator, great person. I would never disparage him. I think at the end of the day, him and his philosophies on how he wanted to do things and the coaching staff that he brought in to try to lead men, I think it just didn't click. I think there was just a little bit of disconnection. and you could just see it on the field. You could see it in the locker room every day. It was very visible, not just for someone who's inside the building. From like me, it was very visible to you too, everybody in Raider Nation. So I
Yeah,
think the disconnect between the coaching staff and the players is kind of where things fell apart. And then of course injuries. There was a lot of injuries that happened throughout the season, and
that's true.
going into the season, I was at training camp every day, and I knew that this was a very thin roster. I thought it was a very top heavy roster in the sense that you had some really good quality starters, and you had some guys that could make plays. But once people started getting hurt, you knew that there wasn't going to be great depth on this roster, and that's exactly what happened. Guys started getting hurt. And then the backups had to come in, and then the young guys had to come in, and it just wasn't enough to supplement what the team could have been. And it was very obvious because you saw how the Raiders played in Week 1 against the Patriots at full strength, coming off of a really good training camp. They
Yeah,
looked like the team that would eventually win the AFC Championship. You saw that in Week 1, and then week by week by week, they just kept on being torn apart, over and over and over again. And by the end of it, you're just depleted. You don't have the team that you had, and they just weren't able to have that. They weren't able to just keep it together, for lack of better
yeah,
terms.
yeah. Oh
There
well,
was a
you know.
there was a
Go
few
ahead.
things that Pete did good though when he came in here, and I don't want to like say like go and bash like it was a horrible year all the way around. But some of the things that Pete did, like allowing the fans more fans into training camp and stuff like that, is very
Yeah,
thankful.
that's
I'll be
true.
very thankful to him for that.
Absolutely.
But like you said, there was things obvious that he could have fixed from the outside and disciplinary reasons on some of the players that he probably should have hit some disciplinary stuff on that we, probably know what we're talking about. But yeah, he could have handled some things differently that we thought that's what we were getting with an older head coach like that, and it just didn't go that way. So I understand what you're saying, but I do think that maybe it was kind of a good thing for us to say like, hey, we tried that veteran route, we tried that older guy who won it, but now let's pivot and go all to the other side and go the young route and keep up with what the rest of the NFL is doing. So I think it was a good thing, but it just was a horrible. It was a horrible thing to go through each and every Sunday last year.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
okay. Well, for me, it's like yeah, it is kind of crazy because like the year prior, we brought an AP with no head coaching experience, so it only made sense why they went to that direction, especially with the options that was given to the Raiders, going and getting somebody with too much experience. I'm just joking, but like somebody with so much experience. Now the Raiders are kind of going in that fine line, like right in the middle. Is like we're not going to go with the brand new coach. I mean, he is a first time head coach, but I think he has a lot a lot on his resume that could show that he could be a capable head coach in the league as far as Clint Kubiak. But before I get into this super chat, though, real quick, I wanted to ask because I know Pete Carroll did a lot of great things. I think outside of football, like the training camp thing, even having that mock game at Allegiant Stadium was pretty fun to watch as well. But do you feel like that was all a part of the plan? I think one of the greatest things that Gino and Pete Carroll did was give us the number one overall pick, right? I think that's a blessing in disguise. Maybe that was part of Pete's plan, right? He wanted the number one pick. He just never got to stay around long enough to make that case
Man,
for us. So we joke around about it a lot, but it's like, bro, no regime was able to get the number one pick other than Pete Carroll. So I always tip my cap off to Pete Carroll. But you brought up a good point about we had a top heavy roster, and I mean I really thought that they could have competed last year though, well with that team. But I
Yeah,
guess
no, things were
yeah,
just, I mean, the coaching. I'm not, like I said, I'm not trying to disparage anyone, but
yeah,
there's just a clear disconnect between the coaching staff and the players, play calling, on top of the fact that it was not a deep team. There's just a lot of things that went wrong, and that's what's so funny about fans or anybody who's watches these games, and they want to point fingers in certain places,
yeah,
and there's real no definitive place to point a finger. It just didn't work out. It was just really bad all the way around.
yeah.
And some of it, it was in their control. A lot of it was out of their control. It just was the cards they were dealt.
Yeah, no, I agree with
I,
you.
I didn't. I didn't point fingers. I just had somebody just told me to do it. He said do it himself.
But what
I
did
didn't
you
point.
blame him for though? What you blame him for those? What did you write?
Oh, this one I blamed him for the 2016 Derek Carr injury.
Oh yeah,
That
that
was
checks
last
out.
year, and then I blamed him for Max's departure, but Max is back, so he's good. He got off the hook now, but I don't. That was one of the that's what you're talking about. Like last season was so bad that Gino took a lot of the heat, even though some of it could have been his fault, some of it couldn't have been. But like you said, overall, it was just a whole team, just and everything just boom. It wasn't just like it's fun to make fun of Gino, and it was crazy that he actually came out there and said, "Blame it
Yeah,
on me."
blame it on me.
Damn,
So
I know.
I mean, but isn't that what you want a quarterback to do at the end of the day? It just
Well, that's true. That's true. I think every quarterback does that, but I think at that point when he said that, I feel like a lot of Raider fans, as petty as we are, because we are petty,
yeah.
like we took it and we ran with it, and it's easy to look at the quarterback and say it's all his fault, but I'm one of those guys that, of course, I was frustrated with Gino's play, but I understood that it wasn't all on Gino. There was a lot of things that went into that, especially, of course, we talked about the offensive line before, but I mean, hey, Gino got a new home. I mean, he was worth some draft picks, even though some people didn't think that he was worth anything. So hopefully he
And
does
that's
something. Yeah,
and that's the thing is with Gino, that kind of shows you that a lot of teams, I guess the New York Jets, for an example, they feel that there was so many other problems outside of Gino, and they're like, okay, well, if we give Gino this and that and this, then he'll return to being the player that he showed he could be in Seattle. Does he have those pieces in New York? I can't say necessarily
yeah.
he does. I mean, the offensive line is not terrible. I think there's some pieces over there. I think it's ironic that Dylan Parham, of course, goes and signs with the Jets
He
after this.
goes. He's following him over there. Yeah, that's crazy.
So I think that's pretty funny. But I think anybody that knows ball for real knows that Gino wasn't the end all
Yeah,
be all behind why the team
yeah,
was so bad. He was a large part of it, but I mean his offensive
yeah,
line
yeah.
have to block.
Yeah.
You have to
And
establish the run, which they just didn't do.
you didn't
His
have a run
receivers
game.
need to create separation, which you have Tyler Lockett and some rookies, and Brock
Tyler
Bowers
Lockett.
for most of the year. So you know, there's
Yeah.
just a lot of things that could have been better for Gino.
Yeah, like I say this all the time is like I know a lot of Raider fans because Raider fans we have our favorites and we got guys that we don't like on the team, right? And I feel like people were giving that excuse for Ashton Jency. I know he's a rookie, the O line is bad, that's why he's not doing the greatest. But they wouldn't give Geno Smith that same caveat, right? Like the O line's bad for him. They just like nah, he's just bad. But I feel like
Nice.
any quarterback that you put behind that offensive line was going to struggle. I mean, we've seen it with Kenny
Absolutely.
Pickett. Yeah, we've seen it with Kenny Pickett, who is the Super Bowl champion, right? So, moving on, moving on from that, though, like I don't know who would have been able to do it. Maybe Derek Carr, who knows? I don't know. But let me get to the super
Oh,
chat real quick because
I
I know
was
it's
saying,
been on here
Derek
for a
Carr can
while.
do everything.
Derek Carr can do everything. He can fix
He can
everything.
do anything.
But hey, shout out to my boy best draft picker, man. He says, what's the noticeable difference from the last regime, I guess, to this regime? I mean, I know we're just beginning, but
That's the hard thing is I'm still trying to figure that out.
yeah,
I would say they seem a little bit more approachable, but I wouldn't really necessarily say like too much more approachable. I definitely see them around the building a lot more, just in the sense of like trying to gel, trying to like learn each other. Um, Obviously, there's always kind of like a big difference in terms of kind of like accessibility between the business staff and the football staff, but they haven't really created any like real fences or guard about them. Not saying that the last staff didn't, but I've just noticed that they all seem like they want to be included with the rest of the building, with the rest of the staff. So I think that's cool. Um, that is a really good question. It's just so early on to really
yeah,
point any real differences yet. But I think that this is a young unit. I think that that's a difference. It's definitely a much younger regime, a lot more a few more younger guys in the building. So that is definitely noticeable. For good or bad, or however you want to see it.
yeah.
But I think that's cool.
Yeah, I want to ask because I think there's a question, maybe an important question. Are the basketball courts still up there, or did Pete Carroll take them away?
I honestly can't remember. I I'm so in my own world most of
I
the
don't even
time.
worry about the basketball
So,
courts anymore.
it's funny
It's very
because
important.
last time I was on the indoor field, I was just kind of it was like National Employee Day, and
Mm,
so they gave us a couple of footballs to throw around on the field. So we were
There
just
you go.
running routes out there, and that was maybe like two weeks ago.
Yeah.
And I guess I'm just the most unobservant journalist ever because I just did not care to see if they were still over there. They might. I don't
Man,
know
that's
why they get
crazy.
rid of them. They might.
Yeah, that,
Honestly, they might still be up. I'm gonna keep it a buck with you.
yeah. You just more. You're not even focused on that. You got more other stuff to be focused on with this team. Huh? Um,
Yeah.
Who's on the new coaching staff that he brought in, like Kubiak, and first of all, is he as boring as he is? Like you think he is in person? Like, have you talked to him yet? And as the coaching staff that he built, like,
yeah.
is there one person in particular that you were like, that was the greatest hire? Like, do you think that was a good hire? Like Rob Leonard hired or the Andrew Dinoku? Which one's your favorite one of the coaching hire?
Well, you just the Rob Leonard promotion. I think that was something that was well deserved. I think he has so much respect from the defensive line room, and they all really rock with him. And I think whether he admits it or not, I think that might be a big factor also behind the Max trade falling apart, and then he deciding like I want to be invested in this team. I think Rob Leonard could have played a huge part in that, and so I just think that he deserves it. I have a solid relationship with him over the last couple of years. I think he's a great guy, really good motivator. I like what he's trying to do with this scheme of kind of bringing in the right people that are going to fit a system that he's going to implement. I think he's doing a great job with that. Is one of those things. If I would definitely say that's my favorite hire for sure. Um, I,
Yeah.
I I don't have any more positive things I could say about Rob Leonard. And I think that he had a really good opportunity to get it just because that he has a relationship with Mike McDonald from Baltimore, and me and Rob have talked about that where him and Mike are tight. Obviously, Clint Kubiak just won a Super Bowl with Mike, so there's not
Yeah.
a better there's not a better recommendation that you could have gotten from a coach than Mike McDonald when you're interviewing for this job. And I think Rob Leonard definitely had that, and I think that played a huge factor as well.
No, that's huge. And
Yeah,
that.
'cause
Yeah. Go ahead.
well, I was gonna say because a lot of people who aren't familiar with it will just be like, "Oh, Rob Leonard got the job just because of Max Crosby," and that's not the thing. Like he is a top upcoming guy in the league, anyways. And really, I think he should have got the job last year to start off.
Well, I
But
mean, Pat Graham. I mean, if he would have left, then then it might have been different. So, and I think Pat Graham was a great defense coordinator as well, really good guy. And I think with the talent he has in Pittsburgh, I think he's going to succeed, and that's going to put him over the edge to finally get a head coaching job. I truly feel so. Really, good situation for both of those guys. I think Pat landed in a good spot, and now Rob has the opportunity to prove himself. And I think he's going to be really versatile with his defense, kind of the way Patrick Graham was. And if you look at what the Raiders have done in free agency so far, they're hitting on everything that they need to make sure that they put him in a good spot. So I'm
Yeah, I
looking
mean,
good for
yeah, definitely. And before we get into like all the free agents and all the moves that we made, right? Like, I want to ask you because I know it was announced at Combine that we're moving to that 3-4 defense, right? Like, I wanted to ask you how big of a difference does that make, for us and this defense that we have right now compared to years prior?
Well, I think the big difference is it's going to be very linebacker heavy in the sense that you need a lot of linebackers who can do a lot of different things. And so
Yeah,
you're starting to see that kind of come together with Tommy Eichenberg, who's already on the team, but then you get into Kobe Dean, who can really do it all, like pretty solid in coverage, good, blitzer, can, tackle really well, doesn't miss tackles, so that's great. I think Quay Walker, I know you said we are going to get into the free agents later,
yeah.
but
Go
like
ahead, you good?
the linebackers like Quay Walker, he's a guy that uh, kind of gets a bad rap for not being the greatest in coverage, but in a 3-4 defense with Rob Leonard, I think Rob is going to be able to ask him to do a lot more with rushing the passer and kind of being more towards the line of scrimmage and kind of not being as much of a liability on the back end. So I think that Quay Walker has an opportunity to actually be look so much better than he did in Green Bay. And that's crazy to even mention because he led the team in tackles all 4 years he was with the Packers. Then he's another guy, he doesn't miss tackles either. So that's not going to be a problem with him.
Oh my
So
gosh.
Charles Snowden, another guy that is already on the team who can also cover but also pass rush, and you're going to see him come off the edge a lot. Kuntz is a guy who has the opportunity to kind of do that as well. So it really just the big difference is you're going to have a lot more linebackers that are going to be able to do a lot more in terms of being able to be off-ball linebackers in the middle, but also have some guys that can rush the passer as well and be able to put pressure on quarterbacks. And I definitely think that that's going to be the big difference when you look at switching from like a base 4-3 to a base 3-4.
And I mean, it only makes sense, right? Because the Raiders went out and signed a lot of linebackers. I mean, you named them already,
Three.
right? Like,
Yeah, I think they signed
I
three
mean,
already.
yeah, I did. Yeah, three. Yeah, yep, three. I almost forgot about the guy from the Colts, but like getting Malcolm Koons, Quay, and N'Kobe, man, that was huge. N'Kobe and Quay, like we messed around about it a couple of times before, me and Joe, and we didn't think it was like going to be realistic that the Raiders could go and get two. We was like, we'll be happy with one, but for them
Yeah.
to go out and go back to back to back to even bringing back Malcolm Koons in the span of what 3 to 5 minutes, that just goes to show like how important that position is. Now I know that we didn't really address the nose tackle position, so I guess I wanted to ask you: is there somebody on the team that we have right now that we should be okay with, or do you think that's still a position that we need to address, whether in free agency or in the draft?
Yes to everything. I think yes, yes to all of those. I think
Yes, yes, yes.
yeah, yes across
We
the
need
board
some
on
guys.
every yeah. Um, they do have some guys that will be suitable. I think Jonah Laulu, Tonka Hemingway. I think those are guys that can emerge and really be able to step up in that defense. But with that being said, you still need more depth, especially in that base defense. You need a big nose tackle who's going to be a
Mhm.
space heater. And I think the Raiders right now have a couple of really good tackles, but they're more of your like three technique pass rushing tackles. They're not going to be like, you're not going to find any fridges on the team right now.
Yeah.
You're going to have to go out and get that either in free agency or in the draft. And I'm surprised that they did not make a signing yet. And it might be one of those things where they're going to go after a nose tackle who's a veteran guy who probably wants to report to camp a little late, might not want to go through all of the,
Probably.
OTAs, might not want to go through all the mandatory mini camp, he might want to roll, nice little
Maybe a
veteran,
big old 6'9" guy.
What'd you say?
Maybe a big 6'9", 40-year-old. You know, I don't know. Just throwing it out there. There's a guy that can play that position. 6'9", about 6'9", about 40 years old.
Who's that?
Calais Campbell.
Oh, Calais. Okay. Okay. I mean,
So
just don't.
I'm noticing the trend. I noticed all of the really good nose tackles that are left in free agency are guys who are older, and I'm not stupid. It's a nice little bet trick, if you want to Scott, you don't want to report to mandatory minicamp. You don't
Yeah.
want to do OTAs. You don't want to do all this stuff in July. Not July, but you don't want to do this stuff
Yeah.
in May. You might as well just go ahead and sign after June 1st and get ready for training camp. So
Yeah, see,
you,
I
you might.
didn't even think about that. That is actually a smart move. If you don't want to report to that, just show up later and sign with the team a little later, and then just get there right before preseason and stuff like that, right?
Well, they'll
Uh,
still probably draft somebody as well. I mean,
oh yeah.
that's kind of obvious. They'll get another tackle too.
I mean, you got Lucky Tossie just throwing
There's a
positions,
couple
bro.
of good. There's a couple of good nose tackles or guys that could play the nose tackle position in the draft, especially like Corleone that could go like middle rounds, and then you have Caleb Banks who is looking like he's dropping a little bit. So it'd be
I like
interesting to
Caleb
see
Banks
his
a lot.
story. It's just that we just went through a foot injury with a defensive guy. Then we're like, oh, do we want to do it again? Like that's Raider fans, we're petty and we always bring up the past and we always think
Was
about
it
the
only
past.
the foot injury that
And
why he's not
that's
on the team?
oh well. When I'm thinking of a different foot injury guy that I was actually talking about. Not
I don't know who else.
not
Yeah, I don't know if he
not.
else.
I'm gonna talk about the foot injury guy currently actively on the main
Yeah,
roster.
on the roster, Yeah, yeah.
Tyree Wilson. You talked
Oh, yeah,
about the
Tyree.
3-4.
Yeah.
You talked about the 3-4. I think nobody will benefit more from a 3-4 than Tyree Wilson because he's a guy that has the flexibility to rush the passer, but he performed very well inside. We
Yeah.
see that he has the bull rush and the ability to really do that and create pressure. So I think with where he's going to line up now in that system, I think that he'll probably be a huge benefactory, a huge benefit I don't know why I'm blanking on that word.
All goodness.
Beneficiary. There we go. That word. Huge beneficiary of the defense being what it is now. I think Tyree, I'm not going to put huge pressure on him, but I think that he has the opportunity to do some really good things now, more than what we've
Too late.
seen.
I already put it on the ESPN ticker. It says Levi Edwards guarantees Tyree Wilson breakout season.
Tyree Wilson breakout season. Levi Edwards guarantees. Yeah.
There we go. Come on, man. We need some kind of breaking news over here. Hey, real quick, this stupid chat man from Space Beast. I don't know what this means, but he said, Levi, touch your nose if you know who NFL Maverick is. I don't
know who it is. I know it's a Twitter account. Like I see it. I see their stuff.
Oh, okay. See, I have no idea.
I don't know who they are. What we really need to try to figure out is who is AFL Godfather. I think that's what we need to figure out is who that is.
Yeah, because that one's been pretty good.
Yeah.
What about the other guy though? The Ricky? I forgot. Ricky Scoops or something like that. I didn't even know about him until Joe told me like he's somebody that might know some stuff.
Well, Ricky will get one or two wrong every now and again, but Ricky got a nice little 75-80%.
I think if you're there, if you're in that percentage, is good. Like that's pretty good.
Levi, would you say that you know a lot of things before it comes out, but you can't say nothing?
Yes and no. I know a few things that come out before it happens, or I have a nice, solid, educated guess on what will happen just off of what I see. But I promise you, man, like most of the time, I wouldn't say most of the time, let me not say that, but I would say there's a good bit of times where I'm just as shocked as you are, where I'll see something pop up on my phone and I'm like, oh, that's what we're doing? Or it'll be like, oh, so that's what's going to happen? So I think if it's like really big, groundbreaking news that I know will be like, will be all over the place. I'm pretty knowledgeable of it beforehand, but there's a lot of things also that, I'm just kind of like every other fan, and I just find out from whatever source because Adam Schefter tweets it or Ian Rappaport tweets it or Jordan Schultz. I'm
those are all fake. Those guys are all fake news. Raider fans tell me those are fake guys.
He's so petty because he be reporting stuff from them, and Raider fans are no, that's fake. So he always thinks.
Well, that's what it is. Like that's with anybody. Like if you like the news that somebody's reporting, you're like, okay, yeah, he's right. He knows what he's talking about. Levi knows what he's talking about. But then when you say something that I don't want to hear, I'm like, maybe I don't even know what he's talking about. But you're saying right now that's
how it goes. Yeah.
That's how the media goes.
John Spytek doesn't call you before he calls like the media and be like, hey, this is what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to release this player. You got this? And then you run with it? Like, you're not the first phone call from him that he gets?
I'm not the first phone call. I'm in a chain reaction of calls. John Spytek will call somebody who will call somebody who will call my boss, who will then call my editor, and then she'll let me know. That's kind of how it goes.
How far is your desk from John Spytek's? Like, what?
We're on the same floor.
Oh.
Me and him on the same floor.
Okay. Yeah. Hey, you're right there.
There we go. We got an insider on the inside.
Yeah. I don't know how much time he spends in his office. He usually, he probably a lot. But he out and about. He got to talk to people. He got to, do his job.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
Yeah. If your GM spends all of his time in his office, then I'm not sure how great the GM is.
That's true.
Go ahead. I was gonna say, have you got to walk down to the draft room a little bit? You ever go in there?
I know where it is. I don't know. I don't think I've been in it. And they also like remodeled it, so it's gonna look a little different. Once cameras are back in there. So I have scooped around it before. I know where it is. I've not ever stepped my feet inside of it though.
Would you say that you might know a little thing or two about who we could get number 1 overall?
Well, I have a very strong feeling that it might be Ty Simpson from Alabama.
Oh, come on, man.
Oh,
hey, that's the wrong number 15.
I'm really
right now, guys. Hey, breaking news. He went into the office and seen Ty Simpson.
No, I'm
Everybody going crazy right now. They're what?
Ty
I just had to say
Simpson.
something. I just had to say something for shock value. Roll Tide though, but no. I mean, it feels like Fernando. I mean, you don't.
Oh,
Would you say there's something in the air?
you know,
There definitely seems like there's something in the air. I mean, anything can happen. I mean, this is a really unpredictable team. Everybody knows that.
The
So I
stars
mean,
are bright.
don't. The stars are bright. You know, ABBA won't let us have the rights to the song.
I know, hey, I heard about that. Hey, that's some whole shit though. Hey, Abba, release the track, dog. Come on, man. We need it in the Legion playing, dog, man. I was talking to
You
a
know,
boy.
I mean, the band might play. You know, if the band on the, you know how they have the band up on the stage, kind of
Oh
where the
yeah,
house.
man.
So
But I feel like
if the house band plays it, that's one thing. You know, we just can't.
nah,
We
I want
just
to
do
hear
not.
Abba sing it, dog. I want to hear
Right
it.
now, we don't have the rights
I
to
know.
put it within any footage. And this is all speculation because you know, this is just depending on who we draft. You know, that song
Yeah.
would.
Depending on if we don't, whoever we get,
Yeah, yeah. You know, that specific song only has a certain significance with one player.
Well, maybe
If that
two.
player is drafted.
There's a Fernando Carmona later in the draft. We can get offensive line.
Really?
Maybe we get it for
Oh,
him.
hey,
That's
we
probably
were
who we
looking at
get.
Fernando. We just didn't know which one.
There's a lot of Fernandos over here.
Hey, Tito said he's
there's
Levi
definitely.
saying Ty Simpson. They
Yeah,
said
Ty
the
Simpson.
chat. Look at that. The chat
That's-
went crazy. Like, oh hell no!
Wait,
Like,
Make a whole graphic for that. The Raiders are going to get Tyson.
I just had.
I'm joking. We ain't trying to mess
Hey,
with you.
but
hey,
let
you
me
know,
ask you this.
if Ty Simpson, if he falls to day 3, you know, I mean, I don't think he will. There's no way Ty Simpson falls to day 3. But the same people said that about Shador last year, so I don't know. But
We're not allowed to bring up Shador on this program. Let me cries about it.
So who cries? Oh, get out of here, bro. Anyway, we wouldn't have a quarterback problem this year if we drafted him last year. Well, it is, that's last year. That's last year. Real quick, man. Let me get to the super chats, man. I don't want to leave y'all hanging. Best draft pick says, what do you know about what happened to C. Wilkins? We could say no comment on that. We don't have to say. But I heard that he's trying to make a comeback.
Did you catch the kisses on the way? Oh, never mind.
Hey,
Go,
he's making a comeback, so we do need a defensive tackle. So that's all I'm gonna say.
I'll
That's
say
all I'm
his
gonna
agent
say.
is pretty good though. His agent said 26 teams have called about him this offseason. So hey,
He didn't say NFL teams though, so who knows? He also sent another super chat. Are you in on Mendoza or trade back? I guess that's a question I want to ask you. I know we kind of speculated number 1 overall, but you think there's a world in where you would want the team to trade back or no?
I would be honest with you guys. If they were going to trade back, they probably would have done it by now. If you look at the quarterbacks that have now gone elsewhere, I mean, you traded away Geno Smith, who was a quarterback that was literally on your roster, so you've already done that.
Yeah.
Malik Willis has gone to Miami. Kyler has gone to Minnesota. Like, there's not, Jacoby staying in Arizona. There's not really any other logical options at quarterback.
we traded with Baltimore. We traded with Baltimore for Lamar.
Oh, you mean the Lamar for the first? Just do that.
Yeah. We'd do business with Baltimore, right?
We could do the first and get Lamar and maybe number 14, right?
Like there's no issue with Baltimore. Like we'd be all right. Like Raiders and Baltimore making a trade, it'd be okay, right?
I think so.
Yeah, no, I don't think there'd be a problem at all. Only issue is, Lamar, he has some knee issues, so we got to make sure he passes the physical first.
Bring him over here just to fail him. Hey, make him drive from Baltimore over here to Vegas. Maybe we can do that.
Hey, we'll fly him into LAX. We'll fly him into LAX and make him drive over.
Make him drive to Vegas. hey, that's somewhat similar, bro. Like, no, make him fly to Oakland and drive here then. Shout out to Raider Reporter though for the 199 says, did we retain Devin White? We have 6 linebackers if so. First and foremost, man, I know Devin White is a touchy subject. because even it's a touchy subject for me
yeah.
when I bring up Devin White, but I know for you, that's
Oh,
a
yeah. It really wasn't a touchy subject.
yeah,
I have no problem with Devin White.
yeah.
Apparently, if I write a story about him, people freak out. Apparently, I'm not supposed to write stories about Devin White or any of our players that fans think are performing, not up to their par or their standard. So
You got to write all about players that people like, not the
So
people don't
you
like.
wrote a good article about a guy who had 174 tackles. He signed a $2 million deal that only could be like a good what's it called, low cost high reward kind of guy who only was a lead, kind of a leader on the defense, and went out there and resurrected his career. Like, you wrote a good article on. Why would you do
I mean,
that?
you're talking about somebody
it's
that got
crazy too, because he broke a franchise record for tackles, but apparently that's not newsworthy, and I shouldn't have wrote about it because apparently he struggled in coverage allegedly.
yeah, because he plays safety too, right? Or he plays
Yeah,
cornerback too, right? That's his job.
but
I mean, he should have been a Pro Bowler.
He should have been.
He should have been.
there,
No,
there,
I'm just saying.
there's more I want to say, but
I
y'all
know.
can get me.
we just
So,
mess
but I
around.
will say, as of right now, I do not think we have not re-signed Devin
Yeah,
White yet. I'm not sure if that's something that happens. I'm not sure if we re-sign him or a Landon or Jamal. I don't know how that's going
yeah,
to work out right now. At the moment, we haven't, so I believe they're still unrestricted free agents. So until something else shakes out, it's just going to remain that way.
yeah.
yeah,
And
and his price probably went up too.
the price went up. I mean, a lot of people prices go up when they come to the Raiders. I mean, but like I was a big fan of Devin White. I know, every time I brought it up too, like I'm not gonna lie, I started trolling our fans too on Twitter with that whole thing because I knew how people felt about it. It was like, why are people being mad about it? Like, okay, he's not the perfect player, but what we got out of him, I think was pretty good.
Yeah.
Especially for a defense that we didn't really have that much of an identity. And I mean, he came over here and I give him props for going head to head with Max Crosby over there, having a shouting match on the sidelines. So not a lot of people would do that. So I'll give you that.
Yeah, two
Shout
alpha dogs for sure.
that
And
definitely.
and Devin White should have been a Raider a long time ago.
You should have
That's
been right up. That's a
I
long
think
time ago.
was it
Yeah.
Clelin Ferrell that
A
won
pick away from
54?
being a Raider.
And but hey, he got the Super Bowl ring out of it, so good for
Yeah.
him and to do his thing. But I mean,
How crazy
I
was that?
wouldn't mind him coming back on this team. But like you said, we've had a great,
Yeah.
pretty good free agency, starting with the guy. And I actually had a guy try to argue with me the other day the difference between Quay Walker and Devin White, and why Devin White is way better than Quay Walker. And I was like, okay, just wait till this year. And I think you've touched on Quay just a little bit earlier, but just is there a difference between the linebacker room this year and what you see? Like, can you kind of hype us up a little bit on the free agent guys that we've signed for the linebacker position?
They're a lot younger. I mean, that should be the first thing that hypes anybody up is you're going from, a veteran room of guys that are kind of, pushing 30 or over 30. Now you're getting some guys who are, 25 or younger that have only, I feel have not reached their full potential of what they can be because they were drafted into good situations. So you didn't have to see them do as much because they weren't required to do as much, but I still think they're great players. And I think with Nakobe, I mean, injuries is really the only thing that has prevented him from being the guy that I knew he could be coming out of Georgia. And every time he's been on the field for the Eagles, whenever he did have the opportunities to prove himself, he looked great. And so, the Eagles, I think, just let him go because they couldn't afford it, and also just the injury issues were just too much. The best ability is availability, and so I think Nakobe Dean is a steal. I think Quay Walker is a steal. I really like both of them as linebackers, and the get two is great. You still have a lot of potential in a guy like Tommy Eichenberg. You want to see how that plans out. Another guy like Sagan, who came from the Colts, I think that he's a guy. Obviously, Initially, right now, it looks like he's going to be a special teams guy. That's why you brought him in to have special teams value, but he can do more than that, and I'm excited to see what they decide to do with that. And then you're still a month away from the draft, and there's so much more that you could get out of this class as well on day 2 or day 3 if you want to continue to add to the linebacker room. So a lot of people should be very, very optimistic about what this will look like this year compared to what it did last year.
No, most definitely. Man, I'm already excited just with the signings that we do have, and you brought up a lot of good points as well. I do want to get to this super chat real quick before we get into a little bit more of the free agency. By Redder Dev, she says, "Do you guys have any idea when they will announce where the Raiders and the Winers game will be? I'm gonna be pissed as hell if it's in New Mexico." I don't know if you know anything about that.
Wait, the Raiders and is that a nickname for 49ers?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It'll
Other
probably
Niners,
be-
yeah.
Basically,
probably
do you have your passport up to date right now?
That's the real question. Do you have your up to date passport?
I need to get on that. It is not up to date, but I can't speak on an inkling.
You
of,
already
like-
broke the news on the number 1 overall pick, so you might.
Oh yeah, correct. Yeah, I already broke the news on that. As of right now, as much as I know, it will be at my stadium, Levi Stadium. And
come on now, Levi Stadium.
Levi
right.
Stadium, like
it is.
Like-
I mean, it is my stadium. It like literally is my stadium. I'm not trying to talk crap, but it is mine. As far as I know, that's where it will be. That's where it's scheduled to be.
You got that power from that power plant though, right next
what's
to
that,
it though.
what's that old thing that when people go, "Was your name on it?" You be like, "Yeah, it's right there. It's
My
right
name
there.
is right there, dog.
Yeah, no, actually, I remember the first time I went there. It was in 2021 for a preseason game, and I took the first opportunity to get a picture with the sign, like as soon as I could on the field. It was like the biggest flex of my career up to that moment, for sure.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
I'm thinking the Raiders are going to have an international game. I don't know which one it's going to be because we've been able to dodge that for a while. I think it's been 5 years since they've had one since they moved to Vegas.
It's been longer than that. The last time they had an international game, I believe, was like London of 2019.
I was going to say 2019.
Against the Bears, and Josh Jacobs went off. And it was like I think it was Khalil Mack's first game against.
It was. I remember that. Yeah,
it was a big deal, and that was like that was the season before I had come on to start covering the team. But that was a really good game, really good turnout, great result for the Raiders, obviously. So it'll be fun to see if they can get that.
I feel like it's going to be an away game for us, nonetheless, because I don't think they want to take away from Allegiant. But for sure, it is an away.
Well, no, that's the
I forgot they didn't announce no international.
They announced the opponents. They just haven't announced when what we
Paris. Oh man, if we go Paris, man, I'm there.
That's my guess. The Saints, Raiders, Paris would be a good one. I know the logical one of 49ers and Raiders in Mexico would be ideal because of where the two teams are located and do you really want to put it up like. I know a lot of Raider fans would love them to come back to the Bay Area. We've had that conversation many times and a lot of different arguments, but that would be like a homecoming of some sort for the Raiders and get them back up there for the fans that are still there, cheering them on every Sunday. So, like we said, the schedule should be coming out a couple weeks? Usually right around draft time, right?
It's like April. No,
I think it's gonna be.
May.
Well, the NFL might have kicked it back to May because they like to take care. They like something to happen every single month.
Yeah. I know for a fact it's in May because Ashton Genty was in our schedule release last year.
That's right. And Levi was on 2 schedule releases though.
He
was on 2, dog.
But yeah,
I was on one.
My guy right here, one-time schedule release, and that was actually a badass schedule release.
I like the one y'all did last year though. The one y'all did last year was pretty funny though.
The one we did last year was fun, but the one TJ was in that was like that. I mean, it was a schedule release, but it felt more like a hype video. Like it was
it was like a hype video, dog.
It was just something for the culture. You feel me?
For the culture.
Well, when you can't coach, you hype it up. What? I mean, TJ still talks about that video, and he brings it up
that's
all the
only
time.
that's the 2 seconds of fame that I have every time.
They actually still use the
Every
video.
time the
And
Raiders
It's on the stadium.
just-
They played it in the stadium like
put it in
every
the
week.
stadium. They used
put
it for 3 years,
out, and
dog.
they still use it. Because TJ, every time it comes on, we're at the stadium, and TJ's like, hold on, look. And he has to
For my kids, dog. I don't know how long. Hey, I don't know how long they're gonna be playing it. I'm gonna be like, hey, Marcus, hey, make sure it's on the screen every year, dog. But I don't know. But I don't know if you've seen it though. Last year with Levi, I thought it was pretty cool. Oh wait, no, this wasn't last year, bro. This is the
Oh,
year
this was
the year
this
before. Oh, this is when the papers hit your face, though. That was funny, though.
Of course, the guys gonna
Hey,
play.
my boy Levi! Let's go. I thought that was funny though. So when they did that whole thing, I guess I want to ask you that. Like, how was that though?
Shooting that was really funny. That was well, my guy Eddie McGee. He used to be our video manager, and he actually just left to go take.
Oh, did he leave?
Yeah, he left. He's with the Houston Chronicle now. That was my guy. I love Eddie to death, and I miss him. Even though
Oh,
he's
is that
been-
Janela now? Is Janela the new one?
Yeah, Janela got promoted.
Hey, shout out.
I know that's yeah. I know a lot of our a lot of people don't really know who I'm talking about, but shout out Janela. She's the best, and she deserves it so much.
That's good. Yeah, she done work. And then even look at last year's. You was with Max Crosby, dog. Look at he was with Max Crosby. See, come on, like, hey,
there we go.
Come on, man, that's easy work. Look, Crosby.
Even Max is like, yeah, I can beat that. Like, that's nothing.
Nah, he couldn't beat that. He had to kick the whole thing. Hey, that's what you call a sore loser right there, dog. Anywho, I'm joking. I can only mess around because that's the Max. But yeah, I seen that. I wanted to bring it up, so it was a good segue to get into it. You know, I had my 2 seconds of fame, but you got to be in two.
I don't know why you didn't play your 2 seconds, but you know.
No, we see it all the time in the stadium anyway. So.
I see it way too much. Like
I would play Joe's 2 seconds, but
don't get it.
He's not on it. He's not on it.
My 2 seconds are right here. Like,
got a 2 seconds. Come on, dudes. Oh, but they can't.
Like, if Fitz got it,
Fitz no more because that coach not with us anymore. So it doesn't work that way. But yeah, I know we're kind of getting a little out of hand right now with the thing. But I did want to bring it up, so that was a perfect segue. Shout out to Matt real quick for the 199. He says, "Sup, Boost." The SF stands for St. Fathers. Okay, yeah, he says something to someone that's not PG, but yeah, oops, it is. I mean, but yeah, I can't wait to play San Francisco. It's gonna be crazy, or Santa Clara, whatever you want to call them. But before we get into the season, though, man, like I guess we'll touch up a little bit more on free agency. We don't have to go through every single person, but did I ask you? Oh wait, who your favorite signing was? I didn't ask you that, huh?
I mean, I think my favorite signing is kind of going to be the obvious one. It's going to be Tyler Linderbaum, and I know a lot of people are going to be like, oh, well, you overpaid for a center. Well, one, he's 25 years old. Two, he's a 3-time Pro Bowler. You're about to pair him with a new quarterback, whoever that may be. Could be Ty Simpson, could be Fernando Mendoza. We don't know yet. But you're pairing him with a new quarterback who has a veteran presence, who's young, really good at what he does, improving the offensive line that we have all now know is something that needs to be addressed. And you're pairing him with Clint Kubiak, who is a zone blocking guy, and Tyler Linderbaum has previously been in that system, really good at that. So it all makes sense. Tyler Linderbaum coming to the Raiders, it feels like a damn near perfect fit. And John Spytek made it happen, and Clint Kubiak made it happen. Tom Brady made it happen. Like, he's a Raider, and I think that him being on that offensive line is just going to make things that much better so quick. Just off the rip.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna lie, I was one of those guys. I mean, Joe too. That I wasn't really high on bringing Tyler Linderbaum because we had Tyler Linderbaum at home with JPJ, right? But I think it works out a lot. Like I didn't think it was gonna be possible until the Raiders actually went out there and spent the dough. But I always say this. I think it's a Okay, I'm back. Sorry. You can hear me.
I don't think we were not high on it. I think we were just like lowering our expectations because we've seen our team in the past. We're like, can we bring in the young guys? And then we're like, okay, then they made another move and they brought an old 36-year-old center, and then finally it's like, wait, like Levi said earlier, like it's starting to make sense. Like, oh wow, a 25-year-old center, okay,
Yeah,
maybe he
still
did give him a
young.
couple extra
Yeah,
months, but
Yeah.
he's gonna
It's
grow.
like,
He's gonna grow
oh,
with Fernando Mendoza,
it's like, oh,
and
he's proven and he's young and he is in the area of need for the team.
oh
Like,
yeah.
oh,
Hey, come
yeah.
on.
can
And
we
the
can we
only,
get him number 00? Can we get him that?
Yeah, I think he picked 65. I'm pretty sure he
yeah,
picked
it's 65.
65.
It's 65. He picked
Yeah,
65.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who got 64? Somebody got
I
64.
think does Jordan Meredith still have 64?
Oh yeah, Jordan. Big Jordan. Yeah. I think
Oh
it's
my
Jordan.
gosh.
Well,
But
okay,
I
so
feel like the only people that are mad about how much we paid for him is the ones that didn't get him, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like if we didn't get him, I would have said, "Oh, damn, they overpaid for him." But I think it only made sense for the Raiders to overpay with the money that we had and the need that we had at that position. It just made perfect sense. So I agree with you on that.
And I'm not somebody that's gonna go into people's pockets and be like, oh, you don't deserve this money. Like the hell, that's like somebody coming in my office and being like, oh, you just write these stories, you don't deserve to make this. Like who am I to say he's not
Yeah,
making his value? If he
yeah,
comes in and he, does what he's supposed to do at his job very well, which I expect for him to do,
yeah.
then it's a good signing. So
I think
I hope he
Hey,
works for every single penny.
you were worth whatever somebody's willing to pay you. That's what it is. And I look at it like everybody's basing it off the last center to get a deal, and that was like 3 years ago, 2 years ago in Kansas City, the guy from Kansas City, and it's like why centers have been underlooked and underappreciated in this league for a while, and you're not really seeing what these guys can do. And basically, you brought his position up to where it needed to be. And we know, and you talked about it earlier, how important the offensive line is, and why not spend a little bit more if you have to and for it. But what I took out of the Tyler Lindenbaum signing is this dude probably had every single team in the NFL calling him. Like you said, 25-year-old, multiple Pro Bowl, at the top of his game. Multiple teams needed a center. Top teams, winning teams. His old coach probably in New York needed it, and he chose the Raiders. Now that's what I got out of the signing. That's what made me more exciting. Is like, hey, this guy not only took the money. Yeah, maybe the Raiders overpaid him a little bit, and he saw that, but he also believed in what's going on here, and somebody, maybe it was John Spytek or whoever, he bought into it, and that was more of a win than I think of him actually coming over. Would you kind of agree to that?
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, he saw that he would fit within what Clint Kubiak is trying to do. So it was just a perfect situation where he got the bag. He's going to be in a situation that's going to be conducive for what he can do, with a team that is willing to invest in him and invest around him, and he's filling an immediate need. So it really just all matches up for him. I mean, it was kind of the perfect situation for him. I mean, the only other thing that I would say would have made more sense is for him to stay in Baltimore, but obviously, they gave his money away to Trey Hendrickson, so I don't think he would have been able to stay.
Yeah, and that part. Well, so if you had to look at the whole, the free agency as a whole, because I think the Raiders, like from my standpoint, from a lot of other people's standpoint, they do believe that the Raiders did a great job in free agency. But for you, how do you feel about the free agency class as a whole? And if you had to give them a grade, what would you give them?
Um, I would probably say right now at the moment, I'd probably say like a B plus or a A minus for sure. I mean,
Yeah,
the big thing is you're not just signing guys just to sign guys. You're getting guys strategically that fit needs that you have on the team, and you have a plan of what you want to do with certain people. Even a guy that we haven't even talked about, Connor Hayward. Like that's a
yeah,
huge signing, and people are just gonna like sweep that under the rug because it's a fullback. But with the way that we've seen Clint Kubiak use fullbacks, whether it was in Minnesota or how he had, Kyle Juszczyk in San Francisco when he was the passing game coordinator. He used a lot of, 20, 21, 22 personnel with the Seahawks this past season with multiple running backs and being able to get guys out of the backfield involved in the passing game. I think like Connor Hayward is such an underrated signing. People don't even realize how good that was to be able to get him. So everything that they're doing, just like it has purpose, it has meaning. They're just not
Mm.
getting guys because it's like, okay, we got to go and get this guy because he's available and we need to fill this roster spot. Like they're doing everything, it feels like, with intentionality. And for that reason, without seeing how things play out, I'm gonna go out and give it a solid A minus for sure.
Oh,
Yeah,
go ahead.
yeah, I think the two. I was going to ask you that because we all know the big names, the Quay Walker, the N'Kobe Deans, and and I was, and you kind of touched on it right now. I was going to say, who was your favorite, like under the radar kind of guy, and you would say Hayward. But what about like guys like Naylor and Quiddy Pay? Those are like the two that I keep seeing like in comments and stuff where people are like, why did we pay these? Like, I don't think people maybe aren't or they're not familiar with them, but once they start to see them, do you think they're going to start falling in love with them here in Raider Nation?
Yeah, I think Kwity Paye is a guy very specifically added to the team. Obviously, he has like 30 and a half sacks, so he's a really good pass rusher. But more than anything, he's a really good run stopper. And not that stopping the run last year was a problem for the Raiders, but on the defensive line, you can use a lot more of that, especially when you're trying to put together an adequate line to complement Max Crosby and help him maximize on the best of his abilities. You need to have depth, and I think Kwity Paye is a great guy to add for that. Jalen Naylor, I'm gonna keep it real with you guys. I wasn't familiar with his game to a certain degree. So he was one of those guys that you sign him, and then you're like, okay, I mean, like, yeah, he's pretty solid. I mean, but we're signing him for this much, and you have to go and do your research. And I think Jalen Naylor, now seeing what I've seen of his tape in Minnesota, I think he's a great receiver. He has the ability to run every single route on the route tree with the fact that he's also fast. And I think when it comes down to it, kind of what I've already talked about with Quay Walker and N'Kobe Dean of being in certain places where they were not as depended upon, so you don't really know their true value or skill set of what they can bring. Let's look at the facts. Jalen Naylor was in a wide receiver room with Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison.
True. Yeah.
It's just very difficult to get on the field. And then when he did get on the field because of injuries or suspensions or whatever they may be, he balled out. He has 10 touchdowns in the last 2 years. And that's insane thinking about because, like I said, he was in a receiver room with Jordan Addison and Justin Jefferson. And you have 10 touchdowns in the last 2 years. So that tells you everything you need to know about the kind of receiver he is and what he could be with more targets.
Yeah. And do you think right now, like I know with free agency, I know Jalen Naylor might not be a wide receiver one. I know a lot of Raider fans want wide receivers, and that's a huge position. But I also think another position that's huge is a veteran quarterback, right? I think a lot of people are all wondering who's going to be the guy. Could it be Kirk Cousins? Could it be Joe Flacco? Maybe bring Derek Carr back. I don't know, but there's always going to be a lot of people talking about different quarterbacks to bring because I think it is important to still bring in a veteran quarterback alongside of ALC and potentially Ty Simpson or Fernando Mendoza. But like who like for you like who's your favorite like I guess veteran quarterback out there that you wouldn't mind bringing over here to Vegas or do you think would be a good fit over here for Vegas?
I wouldn't necessarily consider this guy to be my favorite quarterback to bring in per
Yeah.
se, but I think the one that makes the most sense has to be Kirk Cousins. He's a
Mm.
guy that's played a lot of football. He's a guy that can step in and be able to properly play football at a high enough level until whatever quarterback is drafted is able to ramp up and take over the team. I do think that his personality would mesh well with a guy like Fernando Mendoza if they're in the same quarterback room. And you also have to account for the fact that he also already has a relationship with Clint Kubiak because they were together in Minnesota. And they, I think he played pretty well when Clint Kubiak was his offensive coordinator in Minnesota for the most part. When you look at the numbers and the wins and all of that, so I think that makes the most sense. I mean, granted, it could be Joe Flacco. There's a lot of other options out there that you could look at, but right now, if you ask me, who are they going to go after? Just using context clues and just knowing what I know, it seems like it'll be Kirk Cousins.
Well, you already failed. You like your fandom, like I don't know, your Raider stuff. Like the moment that you didn't say Derek Carr is like I told you, like it's Derek Carr, nobody else. That's who we need to bring back.
I don't know. I don't know who's going to pay for that rest of that contract though. It was like if he
That's
comes
$60 million.
Or with
Who's gonna pay Derek $60 million and trade for him and bring him back?
start a
Like,
GoFundMe page for bring Derek home, so we can afford him.
Derek is at home.
But
He's
do
on
you-
a podcast with his brother.
Oh, he is. Yeah, he's at home. Oh, yeah, he's at home. All right.
Homegrown.
He's
do you feel
homegrown.
that,
He's
do you feel that the
homegrown.
veteran- you feel that the veteran quarterback is needed or do you think that a guy like AOC, who some people in Raider Nation are high on, that he could be that capable guy, and Tom Brady is already in there, who's done it and could be your mentor that you want, or do you think that they actually need somebody in that quarterback room?
Yeah, they need somebody in that quarterback room for sure because right now, Aiden O'Connell is the only active quarterback on the roster. He's the only one. So, regardless of whatever happens in the draft, you're going to have to go out and get another quarterback just to have in that room in general. So it doesn't matter if you're high on AOC or not. It's just inevitable that the Raiders will go out and get one or two more quarterbacks between now and April. But at the end of the day, Aiden O'Connell is still a pretty young player himself. And you talk about him having, a veteran presence on the team, and he's played a lot of games, so it feels like he's older than what he really is. But at the end of the day, he's still on his rookie deal. So bringing in a veteran quarterback would only, help him as much as it would, whoever is selected with the number one pick. So it's not even just like, oh, we're bringing in as a veteran quarterback to compete with Aiden O'Connell. Like you're bringing in a guy to help all of your other quarterbacks in the room. So I think a veteran quarterback signing is extremely necessary no matter what. Like it's going to happen no matter what.
No, yeah. And well,
I wish I had the footage because I pulled the stuff of Simone Raider, throwing the ball at the Raider facility, and like we already got a veteran quarterback, but I'm not allowed to have that kind of access.
hey man, I wouldn't even cost as much as Geno Smith cost last year, but it is what it is. I mean, if they want to save money, would you be open to putting the pads on while player by day, digital reporter by night type deal?
Oh yeah, no, I mean, yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's a nice little pay raise for sure. Who doesn't? I mean, might have a few bruises here and there, but I mean.
But what if they kept the contract the same though? If they kept the contract, yeah.
Oh, then we're gonna sit at the desk. We're gonna chill.
They said, "Hey, Levi, we're trying to budget cuts over here, but we'll let you get some PT if you want.
That is no
nose tackle."
Yeah. I don't know if people have. I don't know how many people have seen you in person, and I don't know how to say this without like coming off weird, but
I know what you're. I know what
you're a big dude. Like you're a big. Like if you're walking around in shorts and t-shirt, and the players are walking around in shorts and t-shirt, people are gonna be like, "Hey, that might be." Like I'm sure you get a lot of kids at training camp that are like, "Hey, sign this for me." Like you're a big dude.
That's my only thing is, I mean, I'll sign it if you can say my name, if you know who I am, if you actually legitimately know who I am. If you're like, Levi, what's up, man? Sign this.
Yeah.
Like, I'll sign it. That's that's cool. But I will never sign a kid's ball with them just thinking I'm just some practice squad player.
Khalil.
I'm tainting this kid's ball. I'm tainting this kid's jersey of him just asking me for an autograph, thinking I'm like some practice squad.
That would be
back.
nice.
Like
that's like the worst thing. I've seen videos like that of like people just like, yeah, they thought I was somebody. So I signed it. I'm like, oh man, like.
Well, that's on them though. It's like, why you thinking like I'm a player? You didn't even ask who I was, dog.
It's like it's Max Crosby, Brock Bowers, Levi Edwards. Like,
yeah.
Hey, I got a lot of autographs today, Dad.
Yeah, as long as you know you are getting Levi Edwards' autograph and you know who that person is and what they do for the team, I have no problem doing it at all.
Yeah.
And the price is always going to go up for me. We ain't done yet, so the value of the signature is only going to go up from here.
Oh, come on, get them while you can right now.
You're right under Hondo's. Hondo's is the most sought after, and then maybe you're probably the next one. We'll probably get yours second.
Hey, we could do no comment on that if you want. But like Joe, that's his favorite beat report. That's fine. But outside of that though, real quick, I know we didn't really talk about this. I want to hit it real quick. Pause before we get into like personal questions for you, and then we can get on. But like the Max Crosby saga, like it can never be a regular Raiders offseason. There's always got to be something going on. Max Crosby was the biggest topic, I think, all offseason. I think we talked about it. Joe talked about it like every second, every hour. But that whole thing that went on, and whether or not he's going to stay or go. Like I said, he completed the fifth. But did you have a feeling that he would be traded, even with all the rumors, or you thought he would stay before?
It started feeling a lot more serious in the last week, for sure. Just it definitely felt a lot more like substantial. For me, it was kind of one of those things where it becomes such a huge topic around the building and just amongst my social media and my friend group, where it was just kind of like, look, I just need this to be done with one way or another. I need him to go.
Bro, same. We were both the same. Was like, just let it be done already at this point.
Like we need to make a move one way or another.
Yeah.
And I guess that's kind of happened for sure.
Yeah. It happened, and did it happen?
But there definitely was a feeling, and when it happened, I wasn't necessarily surprised. It's just kind of like more shocked than anything. And then it's funny because you talk about like, so how much do you know before it actually happens? That was one of those things that I knew when the whole thing, when it was announced that the trade was not going to go through, when the Ravens backed out of it for whatever reason that they gave. I found out about that maybe 15 minutes before we had broke the news about it.
Well, you had to, because they had to release that statement too.
Exactly. We had
so
to.
Yeah.
So that was one of those things where I'm about to pack up, leave for the day. I've done all my work, so I'm ready, And then this is actually kind of a funny story. So Gavin. So literally, I'm about to leave and go home, and I see Gavin just like storm out of his office and like run down the hallway somewhere.
Oh.
I'm like, why the hell is he doing?
He don't run at the facility.
No, I'm not.
But you joke out,
I'm just like, what is going on? Like, I thought he had, I thought it might have been like some little funny meme and he was trying to show it to somebody, or maybe somebody famous was pulling up to the to the stadium, or to I thought something big was happening, but I didn't think it was going to be that. And then I look into Slack, my Slack messages, and I look into we're about to publish the statement and what it was, and now it's just like, oh my gosh,
bro. Okay, so I want to ask,
escape this,
bro. So okay, Well, since we're on the subject, no. Let me get to the trade first. What was your reaction when you first heard the trade went down?
First, I was like, man, that's great value. That was kind of like my first thought. I was like, man, I was like, there's a lot of things that I'm appreciative for Max for. He graced me a lot with just being able to cover him. I'm a Emmy nominated journalist off of a feature story that I did on Max Crosby.
Hey, shout out.
And Eddie McGee for giving me the opportunity to do that. There's a lot of parallel within my career as a reporter for the Raiders and Max blowing up. So it was great. So I was happy for him to be able to go somewhere where he might be able to be like a piece of a Super Bowl winning team. But I also was very happy for the Raiders, because like 2 firsts this year and next, not like a back end first. It's like
that's number 14 first.
So like you can get greedy with 14. You can go and get your nose tackle. You can go and get, man, if you're over here thinking like, oh, if Caleb Downs falls to 14 to the Raiders, it's over.
Our offensive line, get the Usos, man.
And you're looking at the defensive free agency signings, and you're like, okay, now like we
cooking.
We about to something.
Yeah. So
that was kind of my initial reaction to that. And then obviously, you can't be too mad. Because Max is a hell of a player.
People are looking at wide receivers at 14. They're like,
I was starting to get real into the nitty gritty of like, okay, there might have been like 5-6 players. I was like, man, if we got this guy,
But then he took all our dreams away with all that. I didn't even get to do a mock draft. It's messed up. But
I,
you
I
know,
had
like
a friend that
I
I had a
was
friend
ready to do a mock
that
draft with 2 first round picks too. I was like, oh, it's lit.
we didn't
And
even do one. We didn't even get to do one mock
They didn't
draft.
get,
I did
they
one
get
mock
one mock
draft.
draft off.
We were gonna do another one with 2 first round picks, but it's all good though.
I don't
You
want to
know.
call him out, but somebody shed tears that day. Somebody shed tears.
Okay, wait. I was gonna ask you. I was gonna ask Levi first because this okay. See, look at okay. I was gonna say okay, Levi. Of course, you brought up the history with you and Max, right? You basically came on board the year after he got drafted. So like you built that relationship with him. You got to be around the building with him. You got to see him every single day, type deal. Like, how did you feel emotionally? Like, did it feel like damn? Like, I know, like the compensation was great because I felt the same way. But like losing
It
Max
was,
Crosby.
yeah. I mean, unfortunately, now it's at a point in my career where you just see it as a business, and
Mhm.
you're sad because he was such a. I don't know why I was saying was, at the time when this
Was
happened.
at that point, yeah, at that
At
point,
that point,
he was.
he was such a instrumental piece of the locker room and such a good leader and uh, played really hard and really had a Warriors mentality. So but at the same time, selflessly speaking, I was happy for him because the
Yeah,
Ravens, they're a playoff team. They have a lot of really good pieces. So I thought, okay, well, he's going to go into a situation where he can really showcase who he really can be, and maybe win a playoff game or two, maybe get to a Super Bowl. And I was like, good for him. It was one of those
yeah,
things where I really was happy for him. I was happy for the Raiders. I thought it was a pretty good trade on both ends at the time, um, and then it just wasn't meant to be.
yeah. Well, okay, because I guess I shed a tear when it broke down. But I wasn't trying to. Like I was over here reading. I was like, damn, man. Like and it was just so everybody get. Hey, I know the chat be getting on me. So hey, I was emotional, y'all. Chill.
Yeah.
But I wasn't like that one was. And then he always got to get on me for that. And now I wasted my tear on somebody that didn't even leave. I'll probably tell Max about that, anyways. Like
Hey,
all
man,
for nothing.
hey, you know what? I'm not even gonna lie to you. I almost wasted a tear on somebody that didn't leave because I saw the whole Joe Green passed away rumor, and
Oh
my dad is like a diehard Steelers fan, and Joe Green means so much to that team, and I grew up cheering for the Steelers as well, and I was like, man, like Chuck Norris too. I was like, man, Chuck Norris
I
and Joe
know
Green.
Chuck Norris today. Oh
man,
man.
And
yeah,
then yeah, just to find out that Joe Green is still alive and well and with all of us, of course. So I was
yeah. Yeah, no,
but
I know. It's like, cause, like you spoke on it, right? Like, which I'm gonna ask you in a bit, real quick. But when that news, when that news broke that day, right? Like, cause somebody, like one of my guys, my agent, basically he texted me. He said, cause he said how free agency, how's work been? I was like, oh, it's been good. I've been busy. Like, all week was crazy, like free agency, right? And I was like, I'm finally relaxing. And he's like, oh well, I guess you got more stuff to talk about today, right? I was like, no, I'm done. He's like, oh, you didn't see? I said, what are you talking about? Oh, Max coming back? I said, shut the. I said, ain't no way. Like that doesn't even sound right. Like Max is coming back after I just got all over this dude. I was like, okay, let me look. And the first statement I seen was the Raiders, which I almost thought was like AI for some reason, right? But then I read the thing and it was from the actual Raiders. I was like, oh shit. I came
yeah.
straight to going live and the live stream was crazy. I ran to my thing. I was like, oh, we're gonna talk about it. So I ran and I didn't even get to think about anything until I actually read it, like from Adam or somebody put it up there. And I was like, oh damn, like this is actually happening. Like we knew it was gonna happen. But
Yeah.
I wasn't ready for it to happen. So that's why I was all in the emotions and stuff like that. I guess it's gonna be something that's on me for the rest of my career. I don't care. But I guess like you
I
said,
mean, but the sentiment is still there. You
yeah,
feel me? Like it's still, but at the same time, you can't be too mad about it. I mean, it's still Max
yeah.
Crosby, and I will say the defense Max Crosby is coming back to is a hell of a lot better than what it
Yep.
was when he got traded.
When he
So
left, bro,
really
he,
not too mad about it.
I know.
I mean the whole process. I mean, he's pissed about the process that
Yeah,
you know you have. Of course, you go through a situation where you think you're about to get traded and you're packing up and you about to go and commit yourself to this and then it doesn't fall through.
yeah,
So and there's still a lot to happen. There's still so many moving parts to that. Who's to say that he doesn't get traded again moving down the line.
yeah.
whenever that happens. So there's still a lot of things that can happen, but it definitely it will for sure make the top five. When I think about all the things that I've covered, all the things that I've seen, it'll definitely be a top five moment for me of WTF moments.
Yeah, especially when he came back. Like you said, you were in the building when that whole thing kind of went down. Like,
Yeah, no, I saw him. I saw him in the building next day. Literally, like dapped him up. Day after the trade is next, he comes back to the facility, which is wild to me that you come back the day after the trade does not go through, and you're just acting like none of this happened. Which shout out to you shout out to him for being a professional in that regard. It's just still crazy for me that I would have waited a few days, let the heat die down. But he wants to get to work, and he's got his guys there, so business as usual.
Okay, so I don't buy the whole physical knee BS, right? And that's the story that's out there. That's what Baltimore went with. That's what the Raiders have to go with as well. Is there a different way that you could have backed out? Like, because nothing was agreed on. Couldn't they just called the Raiders and be like, we're not doing the trade instead of like putting Max through this ringer? I think that's the way they wanted to go because it makes them. Maybe they felt that it was going to save face instead of just completely backing out. Like as an NFL team,
I can't speak for the Ravens. I don't know what their thought process was. I don't know if this was, I don't know. I can't speak to their processes. I can't even speak for the fact, maybe there was something that was legitimately concerning with what they saw. I can't necessarily speak on any of that or why they did what they did or why they didn't do
How
what they
about this?
did.
Are you a fan of the negotiation window and everything now? Like, would you rather see all that go away and just be like, what? I want to see actual deals and make sure nobody's backing out of
The
stuff.
legal tampering period is a little weird. I think that it definitely should be changed or removed. I think the legal tampering period, like, I'm not a huge fan of it for sure. I think, especially because all of these deals are already being done anyway, in the sense that, like, let's be honest, like all of these guys, their agents are talking to certain teams weeks and weeks before free agency starts, and like,
yeah, we know.
Kind of figuring out what they want to do anyway, and like people already have a good grasp of what they're going to do as soon as free agency hits. So legal tampering is just kind of like being able to break stuff before it happens. I think it definitely. I think there's room for improvement in that area of why this is in place for sure.
Well, I would say that Joe he actually had illegal tampering though at Super Bowl week. We actually talked to N'Kobe Dean before free agency. We were at the same party and we were like, well, he said you told N'Kobe it would be nice to see him in Vegas, and we were trying to make a case for it.
So if you see him walk around the facility, you let him know some of that signing bonus is coming this way. Like me and TJ need some of that little cash.
It's like, hey, Vegas is a nice place. Like we need a linebacker. Who's like, yeah, we'll see.
It's funny because he actually, but even before signing with the Raiders, he would actually come to Vegas and train in the offseason. So he's pretty familiar with the area already.
So it makes sense.
So yeah, he's already spent a good substantial amount of time in Vegas already. So that probably also contributed to his decision as well.
For sure.
And the fact that he chose us over the Cowboys, that story came out, I was like, yes, thank you.
He probably thought about, that big white dude that talked to me. He probably had that in the back of his head. It was like,
Exactly.
I'm going to go over there and I'm going to go talk to him.
dressing like you're going to go for a run and he never does. Like,
hey, I got two more questions before we head out of here.
For sure.
Really, thank you for your time, though. It was for just joining. But two big topics, because I know you pretty well. I would say I know you a little bit more behind the scenes. But hey, Vegas, WrestleMania coming back home, right, to Las Vegas. I know you're a wrestling fan. First of all, how you feeling about WrestleMania coming back to Vegas? And I guess how excited are you about this year's WrestleMania?
Yeah, I'm really excited just based off of the two main events. They've already done so much to really propel those. I think those are two really big fights. Randy Orton going back here. Randy Orton with the
9. It was with the ball head. Yeah.
it gives nostalgia. It's like, this is the Randy Orton I grew up. It's crazy because like Randy Orton as a heel back in the day, he wasn't like somebody that got booed. He would just come out and you just be like, man, he's psychotic. There's something wrong with him. Like I'm scared to boo. Like that's
Voices,
the
dog,
effect
is fucking
Randy
up.
Orton used to have back in the day. Is people were scared to boo him because he was legitimately psychotic.
Yeah,
So it's cool to have that. And then Roman and CM Punk is going to be a really big money. It's just a nice little money fight.
yeah,
Two guys that are white hot right now.
two
As
dogs.
two dogs. I think they both are still performing at a really high level. So I'm interested to see how the rest of the card plays out. But I think that
Yeah,
those two matches alone got me invested. Like I will
yeah.
show up just to see those two main events, which is all that's what you want for a big card like this.
You were there
Well, if
last year,
TJ
right?
sees
Yeah.
if TJ sees CM Punk get off the plane, he's on flight
Oh,
with Samoa.
it's on site. It's on site with CM Punk, dog.
Oh yeah, because
You didn't talk about Uncle like that. It was, come on, man. Secret like that,
that was
cuz.
crazy.
We,
That was
see,
crazy.
man, see, he already got I mean, I guess he already got pissed off by Roman just calling him old. I said, nah, man, go after the fucking dog, man. Call the dog out, dog.
Gonna go after Larry.
Call that one Larry out, dog. But I don't know, but it's all fun and games and whatnot. I'm excited for this year WrestleMania running. I know a lot of people like wrestling fans outside of Vegas are hating it because like why do this again, right? But me being selfish over here living in Vegas, I'm just happy because I don't got to travel anywhere. So it's gonna be cool. We're gonna be over there. You're gonna be over there too. I know you were there last year, right?
I'll try to I'll make sure that I find a way to get in there for sure.
Hey, one thing about living out here, we find a way. We'll find a way. There's gonna be
Uh,
one way
if
or
there's
another.
a if there's a will, there's a finesse.
There's
You
a
feel
way.
me?
Yeah, there we
I'm
go.
on
Just show the idea. Hey, we're here with the. We're gonna find a way in there somewhere. We know somebody.
Yeah.
I'm gonna find out right now. Are you a Danhausen fan? Because I'm not. Are you a
I
Danhausen?
did. I
Yeah,
did.
hater.
I'm not too deep into the indie scene to have even known who that was until he came through.
Yeah.
Like I know a couple like the indie wrestlers that I like. I like who a couple of guys, but they're now all in NXT, so they're not even really like indie now. There's a couple of TNA guys that I like. I liked
You like Ricky Sosa?
he's I liked I think what's his name now, like Alexis King, but like Brian Tillman's
Oh, son.
Brian
Yeah,
Tillman's
yeah, yeah.
son. I thought he was cold on the indie scene. Obviously, you got your boy Zilla Fatu. He's coming up.
Fatu. Yeah, yeah.
I was a huge Jacob Fatu fan, when he was on the
Same,
indie
yeah.
scene, when he was in MLW. But now, it's just all the indie guys who I like are just now blowing up. So like they're not even like a big thing anymore. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, well, I'm excited for it.
I
I
had no
know.
idea who he was until he pulled up and out of that.
So you're not
box.
gonna get cursed. You're good. You're good from all the curses and stuff like that. I'm
Joe
with you.
just
Like,
hate on him, bro. Joe's he likes Santino Marella, but
yeah, I'm
it is.
telling right here, Santino Marella, dude. Like, I'm a big
Bro,
Santino
he's
guy.
the
Like,
same, bro. He's the same as Santino, man. You gotta
he's
show
not the
love.
same. He's not.
His daughter. I think his daughter's in NXT, isn't she?
I seen that.
Yeah.
I seen that. That's
Yeah.
crazy. But yeah, that being said, speaking of wrestling though, Michael Jackson. I'm just joking. But Michael Jackson is, I know you're a big fan. I'm a big fan too. That's the GOAT right there, Michael Jackson. Best of all time. It was Michael the movie. It was like, I know you probably seen it, and I know you probably got chills or whatnot, but I wanted to ask you, did you see the trailer? How'd you feel about it? And are you excited for the movie coming out?
I've seen every single trailer. I've seen every single reel. I've seen every single fan
on.
edit. I've
Come
seen
on.
everything.
Come on.
So first and foremost, great casting choice. Sometimes nepotism can work in our favor, and this is
Yeah.
one of those cases because homie looks like him, he moves like him,
Sound like
he's
him.
got family, sound like him, got the family lineage. I think it was a great cast. Anybody that knows me well or does not know me well knows that Michael Jackson is my favorite all-time performer.
Same.
He's somebody that I just love his music. I love what he did with the industry. He crossed so many barriers, especially as an African American male. That's my GOAT, and I'm really glad that they're gonna go about giving him a proper major motion picture documentary. And I really do truly believe it lives up to all the hype. And I'm not sure when I'm gonna get in the theater to see it because apparently the movie releases on the same day of the NFL draft on the 23rd.
Oh shit!
That's
Does it?
premiere. Yeah.
Oh, well, I guess something that.
So I'm either gonna have to sneak. I'm either gonna have to, like we talked about, finesse. We talk about the
Finesse,
finessing.
find
I'm
a
either
way
gonna
out.
have to finesse into into a premiere the day before, like a secret viewing,
Yeah.
or I'm just gonna have to wait until the
Friday.
draft is over and then
Forgot about the
But
draft.
but I was so looking forward to being there for the premiere, but it probably won't happen. I'll
Yeah.
have some more pressing matters I gotta focus on, but I'm real excited.
I mean,
for
you
that
know
movie.
who we're gonna get. We don't need to be there, right? You know.
You don't even need- yeah.
We know who it's gonna be.
Yeah.
I'm just joking, but yeah, I'm the same. I'm on the same boat with you. That's my favorite artist. I know Joe. His favorite artist is Freddie Mercury, right?
Yeah, I love Freddie Mercury. We already had that movie, Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm a huge Freddie Mercury fan too. Like Queen is actually my favorite rock band for sure.
Oh, me too.
I'm being dead ass serious with you right now.
I didn't know how many songs I knew until Bohemian Rhapsody came out, and I was like, oh damn, I do fuck with him like that. Like I didn't know that was all Queen.
So I hope you do good with this information that I'm about to tell you right here. Whenever I'm on bench and I need to get that extra rep in,
there we go.
The show must go on. That's what I play.
Ooh, there we go.
That's my goated Queen song, especially with the backstory.
You talk about like you said, the casting. That was a great movie with casting as well.
Casting. Oh yeah, he killed it.
Them teeth, yeah, crazy. Anywho,
Taylor Swift is on my Taylor Swift. Big Taylor Swift fan too.
Taylor Swift, yeah.
Hey, there's another movie coming out this year. I don't know if you know that. It is Raider related.
Oh, the John Madden.
John Madden.
Yes.
Nicolas Cage.
He watched
Christian Bale.
He watched it.
Hey, I may not have seen it already.
He's a stunt double for Madden.
Yeah. I don't know how much I can talk about it, but yeah, I did.
we
thing, but yeah,
NDA, you can't talk about it.
It's going to come on Amazon Prime, so that's coming out. Raider fans should be happy about that if you're a big Madden fan or Christian Bale fan. So we're not only do we have a good free agency, we might have a good draft, and then a Madden movie. Raiders are back. This is like the year of the Raiders right here.
Who thought it would be in our in the good Lord's year of 2026 it would happen? Who would have thought?
I'm just hoping and praying that no bomb strikes the USA by that time. So it would be the year that the Raiders turn things around, right?
They were back, it's like,
It'll be the one year the Raiders do something right. Oh, but hey, I appreciate the Levi for joining us, even for the time being. I always see you around at the stadium. You always working hard, hopefully this year we have something to cheer for. We did have something to cheer for. We were cheering for the #1 pick, but outside of that, something good. Yeah, well, we're gonna cheer for some wins now, and I think this season is gonna be different. It's gonna be crazy, and we do got to bring you on in the studio too sometime as well, because I'm gonna be running the show back again. We'll see, but. Yeah, I appreciate you coming on, man. If you guys don't know, man, go follow Levi Edwards on all social media platforms. I don't know if you have anything else coming up, Boos.
I mean, just get ready to, I'm gonna, this fan base. It's a very passionate fan base, and they're really invested, and it makes me want to do my job a lot better. Well, not better, but just put that much more work into what I'm already doing.
Yeah.
Because the fan base is like no other, for better or for worse. So just always be on the lookout on Raiders.com. I'm always going to make sure I'm cranking out really good content, really good exclusive stuff that, only I can get you from being in the building. And not only just, tell what's going on with the team, from a football perspective, but also give you insight on who these guys are, why they're the players they are, why the people they are. That's also something that I'm really excited to continue sharing with the fan base. So always just make sure you stay tuned on Raiders.com, and I'm going to make sure I keep doing what I can do to serve this fan base.
Yeah, no, for sure. Appreciate it, those. Thank you for that.
Anytime you see Galvin run again, sure you text us real quick and be like, hey, Gavin's running.
Yeah, you guys might want to
I won't break
Something's
I
happening.
won't break the news to you. I won't tell you what's going on. I'll just be like, Gavin's running. Stay tuned.
Gavin's running. And Marcus
Gavin's
is
running.
sitting at his table doing nothing. But hey, shout out. Let me get the super chat. I don't know why you saying a super chat at the end of the day, but I'll answer real quick. Big up, gentlemen. Respect. Thanks for the Raider info. As always, do you think Cam Jordan should come in for a season or two? I bet Simone Raider will shed a tear of joy on draft night. Peace. Hey, real quick, Paul Mazik, that's my loose right there. I wouldn't mind Cam Jordan coming over here. I mean, I know he teams up with Max at the what was that? Yeah, Sack Summit. So I don't think it would hurt to bring him over. I'd be down with it, and I definitely will shed a tear of joy when we draft. Well, we better draft. Well, I will shed a tear whether or not we draft Fernando, because I'll still cry of disappointment if we don't get him. So outside of that, though, hey, shout out to the chat, shout out to everybody in here. If you guys haven't already, man, hit that like button. Does a lot for the channel. Takes a little bit of your time. Until the next one.